so absolutely po, you know.
Yes. Welcome aboard. So this is where we going. The pier, I forget what is the name.
This is Pier 17.
Of Pier 17, and so the top view wants us to go to the Pier 46. 36, I mean, sorry, and the same as Liberty. So I'm gonna save my battery for the next upload. So see you in a little bit. Okay, so now we are here at the Pier 36, and then we're gonna go right at the boat. Gonna see Miss Liberty. Liberty is in the house while I'm waiting, mommy. So we are gonna go for a little cruise and boy. And there is the Manhattan Bridge, and then the other side of the Manhattan Bridge, that is the Brooklyn Bridge. And we will see Miss Liberty here shortly.
And no fries.
What was that?
No more fries.
And I am back. So we are here on the line, and we're gonna see Miss Liberty here shortly. So 3:30 is our boarding, so come and join, have fun. So we are under with Tapu. So we're gonna cruise at the Manhattan boat, and I'll see you, and we're gonna go sit up there. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Come aboard.
For the upper deck, okay? Hi guys, how we doing today?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Please watch your step here. When I get scared, I get the hiccups. Watch your head. I'm scared because Nick called me.
So ayun, nandun na kami sa loob ng bangka.
Mamaya, pag ganun pa tayo.
Ayan. Miss Liberty. How's the experience of Miss Liberty?
Friends, you got a nice little trade center starting to light up. We can see the city light up as it gets darker. Like I said, it is 8-sided. It was finished in 2015. It's got the slides. There's 2 playgrounds over there. There's a petting zoo. And those tents are much nicer than they appear to be. That is actually glamping. If you're not doing glamping, it started about 5 years ago. Glamorous camping. So when you go inside those tents, they actually have a floor. They have a bathroom, they have heat, they have air conditioning, they send me brochures, I know all the details. They have Tempur-Pedic adjustable beds with like 1,500 breakout sheets. Yeah, it's really, really nice. Costs about $300 a night. But then why you do it is you're there in this luxurious area on the secluded island with no cars, and then around you, like tonight, when the sun's setting or the sun's rising, all these iconic urban views and landmarks are in front of you, so that's the whole point of doing it. You wouldn't go the whole 9 days and stay there. I wouldn't go. I don't camp. I don't understand camping. I thought we got past that. Yes. Where? Someone had a question. someone say they had a question? No? Okay. In between my hat being on and people having masks on, I can't see who's talking. Who's talking? Who's asking me if there's a question? What's the national anthem? Star Spangled Banner? Now. We just sang America from Neil Diamond. They come into America. Did you hear that? Okay, now here's the bad news for us about Governor's Island. If you haven't caught on yet, we are desperately always finding places to put more apartments. Because Governor's Island is owned by the Parks Department, one of the rules of the Parks Department is no one can have their permanent residence on Park Department property. So no one can live there. It's true, but like what's the big ones, like Yellowstone, you can't live on the park's property. So our workaround to figure that out is they're going to use these old officers' quarters and make them into dormitories for some of the local colleges, especially in Brooklyn, because you get there really quick in Brooklyn. And also make them into hotels. But no, if we could, I promise you, we would already have like 5 40-story affordable housing apartments on there, but we're not allowed to do that. So it's a problem. Now over here, if you can see where One World Trade Center is, it's getting all lit up. If you look everything to the below it, going towards the Hudson River, you notice how it all kind of looks the same. It has the same kind of design, the same kind of brick and everything. That's because it was all built at the same time. It was all built in the early 1970s, because up until the late 1960s, that was the Hudson River. When they finished building the original World Trade Center, they took all the leftover dirt and garbage from the constructions and from the foundations, mushed it, made it into landfill, and added 3 blocks to the side of the island, called it Battery Park City, and put apartments on it. So like I said, we will do whatever we can for space. And this is not a new thing. Remember I told you I get the subway, I told you we were to Rutgers? That actually is not Rutgers Street, that's Rutgers Slip. Because up until the mid-1800s, the East River went all the way up there. And we used landfill and built out 3 blocks there as well. We will do anything for space, we are not proud. Up in front of us, the building looks like a giant cheese grater. That is one of the new apartment buildings down here. Up until the last, this century, there weren't really any apartments down here in the financial district. It was strictly just a business district. But these are new, and you can get a 1-bedroom there for as low as $1.2 million each. So we got you covered. And we see the Staten Island Ferry up here on your left. On your right, just to prove that I was not lying to you, originally this was a military outpost for the World War II. So there's the if you see where the red light is on top there, just flash, it'll flash again, and there's a cannon on the roof. That is the original fort from the War of 1812. That's where they shot out to the water and all kinds of stuff. Now it's a military museum, one more thing that you can do on Governor's Island. But over here to your right, this is all Brooklyn. Brooklyn has really built up and became very gentrified in the last 10, 20 years. As of 2017, it is just as expensive to live in Brooklyn as it is in Manhattan. Those are the facts. Now, just what do you call it, like the stories, or something just like that. So yeah, anecdotal evidence, as they call it in science. I lived here in the 1990s. I was in my 30s. I lived in Greenwich Village. I was way too cool to go to Brooklyn. I had no reason to go to Brooklyn. People who lived in Brooklyn were freaking tunnel trash because they had come over to Manhattan, where New York was. I moved away. I moved back in my 50s. I can't even afford to look at an apartment in Brooklyn. And all the hip new places, I'm not hip or cool enough to even go to Brooklyn. So it's amazing what just a little decade and a half can do. Turns things around. But that's where you're seeing all the new construction. Now, just to give you a brief history of New York, it'll be very brief, and just so you kind of understand what's going on. When we started as a city way back in the 1600s and 1700s, we were a port city because the Atlantic Ocean came right up here. So everything would be sent over from Europe, we would process it, and then we send it around the rest of the country. And we could do that because the Hudson River actually goes up and you can get to the Great Lakes from there, through the Erie Canal. And then we could also go all the way down the East Coast at the Atlantic Ocean. And then in New Jersey City, they had this whole train hub that went all around the Midwest as well. So we really could get all around and do all that kind of stuff. And that's what the city was built on. By the 1970s, that was all over. And shipping meant planes. As a city, we were fine because we have 3 airports and we do what we got to do. But these neighborhoods suddenly became deserted warehouses and factories. Nothing good or legal happens in deserted warehouses and factories, and nothing good or legal did. And they were not safe. My very first apartment before I went to Grand was on it was in 1994, but it was on West 45th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue, and I was told don't go past 9th Avenue after dark, and don't go past 10th Avenue ever. Like, you never go past there. Now that's where the most expensive waterfront apartments are. But that's because we started cleaning up the area and doing all kinds of stuff. But so that's why you're seeing a lot of construction along the waterfront and that type of thing. But no, this is the East River, the Hudson River. If you watch old movies, gangster movies, and they put the cement shoes, they took a walk in the river and see the East River, the Hudson River. Yeah, we've got a checkered past. It ain't all pretty. Tony Soprano was right over there in Jersey and Staten Island. In fact, if you watch I don't know what it's called, but there's a Soprano like prequel music movie coming out, and it was all filmed on location in Staten Island. Over here on your right, you can still see some of the areas of Brooklyn are still used for industrial areas. We saw helicopters taking off and landing. But you can see there's so much construction over in Brooklyn. Okay, the coolest thing I saw with one of the helicopters, and just because I don't get around much, I'm never like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. It landed on someone's yacht. Like, someone had a yacht that had a helipad on it. I was fairly impressed. Okay, guys, if you look straight ahead on the left side, look over the Brooklyn Bridge in the distance, you're going to start seeing Midtown Manhattan. So you're going to see some of those landmarks. I want to encourage you, if you got discouraged coming down here trying to find things, Lower Manhattan is awful to get around. If you're below 14th Street, there's no rhyme or reason to the streets. They date back to 1700s. It's where anyone's property line was. I used to live on West 4th Street. If I went 2 blocks from my house, West 4th Street intersected with West 10th Street. That should never happen. They should be 6 blocks apart. If you stay above 14th Street, in 1805, we made a grid system. Everything above 14th Street, all the way up to the Bronx, is on a grid system. All the streets go east and west. All the avenues go north and south. There are 5 avenues to a mile. There are 20 streets to a mile. And the only one that angles is Broadway. And Broadway goes from the northwest corner to the southeast corner. And every time it crosses another avenue, we mark that. So where it crosses 8th Avenue is Columbus Circle, 7th Avenue is Times Square, 6th Avenue is Herald Square, and so on all the way down. But you can't get lost. Over here, so if you're looking where I told you to look in the distance, you can start seeing the Chrysler Building. You see the very tippy top of the Chrysler Building. Chrysler Building, one of the only 2 stainless steel buildings in the city. Was tall building for about 2 months because the Empire State Building hit their antenna, and so they didn't realize how tall they were. So as soon as the Empire State Building opened, they were taller than them. Something I never knew, and I always loved the building, those half circles going up are actually replicas of the hubcaps on the 1930 cars, because it was owned by the Chrysler Car Company. Oh, and they just lit up while I was talking about. Look, when you talk about those, they're going to light up. Next, that's an apartment building that's being sued for millions and millions of dollars because they didn't listen to us, and it's very skinny and narrow and tall, and it sways in the wind. And they said they made provisions like with some kind of like joint or something that the building can move, but literally all the drywall in all the upper stories has cracked, all those things are falling. And these were apartments starting like at $40 million, so people were not amused. Yeah, so they're paying a lot of money. Now the building here with the blinking lights on the top, this is where you're going to admit that you can only keep up so much. So weird looking building kind of goes up, there's a spire with the blinking on top and then 2 blinking lights below it. That is One Vanderbilt. I have not been there. It has not been open for a month. It's been open for about 2 weeks. It is right next to the Chrysler Building on 42nd Street, right off of 5th Avenue. Still has a great view. I've seen some pictures, but like I said, I have not had a chance to go yet. But that is the new hotspot, One Vanderbilt. And then they have the glass floor, but you're inside. I feel much better about that. And there's the Empire State Building, all red, white, and blue for Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day, isn't it? I'm not wrong, am I? Yeah. So the Empire State Building is all blue lit up for Veterans Day. It is has 6,500 windows, 73 elevators. First elevator goes up at 8 a.m. Last one goes down at 2 a.m. Gives you a great view to see all the way around. It's a great place to start your day because you can go either direction. If you start there and then go on 34th Street, one block over, you're on 34th and 5th Avenue. If you go one block over, you're at Macy's, the world's largest department store, where you go shopping with no tax and except for the discount for a block. And then at 7th Avenue, it is Madison Square Garden and the new Penn Station. So there's lots to see. You can do a nice morning there. You can also go down 5th Avenue. You'll go through Tin Pan Alley. You'll get to the original Madison Square Park with all the original towers from all the insurance companies, the original Shake Shack, the giant the Italy Cafe, the biggest Lego store, and the Flatiron Building. If you're 30 or under, you know it as the Spider-Man Building. Oh, sorry. To you, happy birthday, dear.
Sarap tayo.
Happy birthday to you. Now we have a 10-year-old who just celebrated her birthday.
Guys, please, one at a time, no pushing or shoving. Put your hand here and do that.
Watch your head, watch your head.
Watch your step here, have a great day.
Have a great day, guys. Watch your step here.
Magtutrain tayo.
Haggard na.
Haggard of result, guys. Yes. So, ganyan. Pag pinaiwan ng bus. Ganun.